All right, guys, this next interview, this next guest is absolutely batshit crazy bonkers in the absolute best way possible. Our guest today is none other than the GOAT of backyard running and long distance running, I would argue, Phil Gore, Western Australian firefighter, father of four. He is the GOAT, two-time world record holder. He set the mark of 102 yards back in 2003. He then broke his own world record in June 2025. He did 119 yards at Dead Cow Gully in Australia, a run that took him 5 days. He did 800 kilometers. A few months after that, he went and won the World Championships in Tennessee at Big's Backyard. And here's the thing about backyard, guys. You probably know this because Charlie and I have talked about this at length. And Simo, who is the special guest on this episode, big shout out to Simo, who's joining us as a guest because I'm not doing this interview. It's my brother and Simo. And I regret it so much. I wish I could have been here to interview Phil Gore, but I was away and it didn't line up. So, anyways, this episode 182 here, we talk a lot about the backyard. It's not a distance race. It's a last man standing race. You guys know about this. 6.7K, 4.1 miles, 4.16 miles. So you're not training towards a number on the board. You're basically training towards going forever. So you can't set that record alone in the real world, right? You can't, someone needs to push you. And Phil Gore, the last time he did 119 loops, well, Sam Harvey pushed him to 118 and then Sam Harvey said, I'm done. So you know what Phil did? He has an hour to do his last loop. He did it in 34 minutes. He busted out 5-minute Ks on the last minute after running for 5 straight days and 800 kilometers. So he obviously had a lot in the tank. In this episode, he talks a lot about how confident he is that he will achieve this, whether or not he can do weeks at a time of this, what the limit is. Towards the end of the episode, there's a really neat discussion about running solo versus running with someone and one of those what would you do if games. So this is just absolutely one of the coolest things we've ever done. Interviewed the GOAT. We've already had him on, but now we're getting him on again, and he's going to talk about this Project 168 that he's trying to do. So he's going to try to run for a week straight. Yes, you heard that properly. He's going to try to run for 1 week straight. So that's 49 laps past his own official record. So think of it this way. When Gretzky had the greatest year ever in 1982 and scored 92 goals, well, he beat the record by, what was it? Something like 19%. When Barry Bonds hit 73 dingers, he beat the record by 19%. When Bob Beeman, famous long jump, the most shocking moment in track and field history, he beat the record by 6%. Kipchoge going under 2 hours, you know, in his kind of fake Project 2 there, well, he beat it by 1.6%. Like nobody breaks a world record by 41%. It just doesn't happen. The greatest marks, they don't happen. I thought of a couple that came close. Early land speed records in 1898-99, Camille Genazzi and Gaston Chasseloup-Loba. They traded records in Paris. This is 1800s. And the record was 44 miles per hour, and he built a custom engine, and he got to 65 miles per hour, 48% jump. So there you go. The only thing I can consider that can come close to a 41% jump in the greatest that's ever been done in this sport. And Phil Gore's about to try it. This thing starts next week. It's just absolutely crazy. We have him on the podcast. So I can tell you guys, I am jacked. I'm excited for this. It's going to be, I mean, I've done a backyard. I know how hard it is. Charlie just did one. I did 1 day, guys. I ran for 25 hours. I did 1 day and 1 hour. And it took me months to recover from that. And it was the most grueling, difficult thing that I've done, right? One of, for sure. This guy's going to do that for 7 days straight. Phil Gore, absolute beauty of a human being doing this all for charity. His telethon, we talk at the end about how it's going to work and how you can participate and all that. So I strongly advise you guys to, I mean, we will update you guys next week as to how this is going. But we got Phil Gore on the podcast with Charlie and Simo for episode 183.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Today, we have a very special episode. We have an amazing guest. We're so lucky to have him, Phil Gore, who in 1 week's time, approximately 1 week's time, will be attempting one of the greatest feats in running history, Project 168. He's gonna talk about that with us, but he's also the reigning backyard ultra world champion, completing 119 yards, I believe. and also sorry, that was for the world record, but he's also the world champion. This is also a very special episode because I've got special co-host Chris Morissette, who's helping me out today with Rob being gone. But without further ado, let's start getting into it. So, Phil, can you talk a little bit about this Project 168 and how it came about and where the idea came from and the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, g'day. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so Project 168 is a solo endurance challenge to basically see how far I can go, inspired by the Backyard Ultra format. So I'll be following those same rules, except I'm not having it as part of a race. There's not going to be other competitors, no assist. It's just me against the clock and, yeah, setting the target of 168 hours, which is 7 full days. So yeah, it's just about seeing how far I can go. If I can get to that 7 days, I just really want to see what I'm capable of. But at the same time, I thought I could use this as a way to raise money for a local WA charity. So Telethon, they're a charity that supports sick, disadvantaged, and vulnerable kids. So yeah, I just thought, yeah, use my running powers for good and raise a bit of money for them in the process. So it's yeah, obviously I've been doing backyards for a while, and yeah, when you finish as the last one standing, you're basically the only person in the race who doesn't find out what your limit is because you had to stop because the race ended, not because you were done. And yeah, so I've won quite a few of these and been at the end of it, and as the last one standing, left there wondering, well, how much further could I have gone? And it's kind of cool in a way, like not knowing what my limit is and knowing that there's a lot more potential there. But then I've also been, yeah, thinking about this for a while, like, well, what if I just did it by myself and just see how far I can go by myself? Like, where could I get to? Uh, and yeah, so I came up with 168. I did toy with the idea of having it open ended, but for the purpose of this, I thought it would be good to set a goal, uh, have it as 168. It's still more than 2 days of what I've ever done before. I do believe it's possible, but it's also it's going to be a real big challenge. Like there's still a lot of uncharted territory there that I haven't experienced before. So uh, as much as I believe that it's possible, there's still a lot of unknowns there, and it's still going to be a big challenge. And I want to kind of use it to hopefully inspire other people as well, and set a benchmark of what's possible. And yeah, even if I don't get to that 168, I hopefully still be able to set a number that people can see as possible and that they can chase, and have that 168, whether I get to the 168 or not, still have that number kind of ingrained in people's minds as a target. The same way that before the 100 was broken, there was questions about, will this 100 mark ever get broken? And then two Belgians came along and did it, and then they opened up the gates for everyone else to follow. So yeah, it's there's a lot of different aspects to it, but at the end of the day, it's a solo endurance challenge to really go and test myself and yeah, hopefully
So Phil,
bring awareness to the sport and raise a bit of money.
that's awesome, Phil. So I think most of our listeners know what a backyard ultra is, but some of them might not. So maybe you can kind of explain what, when you say 168, we're not talking 168 miles here, or we're talking about something else. So can you explain what 168 yards, what is an actual yard, and like what that entails a little bit, just briefly for our listeners?
Yeah. So yeah, a backyard ultra, you do 6.7 Ks or 4.1 miles on the hour every hour. The reason it's that weird number is because after 24 hours, that equates to 100 miles. So 7 days will be 700 miles or 1,127 kilometers. And that's just running consistently every hour. So you do get breaks because if you do the lap in 45 minutes, you got 15 minutes before the next hour starts. If you do it in 58 minutes, you get 2 minutes rest before the next hour starts. But you're basically starting on the hour every hour. So yeah, any eating, sleeping, using the bathroom, having a shower, that's all kind of done in that little 10 to 15 minute break or whatever it is that you've got. And yeah, it's just consistent, like 168 hours in a row. There's no, I'll just sit this hour out and start the next one. It's you finish 1 hour, you start the next.
So Phil, I listened to your another podcast that you were on with the Backyard Ultra podcast with Pato, and I heard a lot about this, so I do know a little bit about what you're trying to do here. And one of the things that caught me in that interview was that you said, and 168 totally makes sense to me as a number to pick. Because it's a week and it's like you said, it's more than 2 days. So we had another guest on here who won, uh, our little province's Backyard Ultra, and we thought it was amazing. He did 53 yards. So and it was, but, like, you're tacking on an additional 53 yards to that number, so it's not like it's or I don't know what the number is, but you're I think no, 50 so it's tacking on an additional 59 to the world record. So it's not like it's it's not like it's a small amount.
Yeah.
But you mentioned in that podcast that uh, you could see yourself potentially having the ability to go on indefinitely. And when I was texting with some friends on this, like some people were saying that it maybe sounded a little confident, but I don't think that's what you were portraying. I think what you were saying is if ever you get to that point, like there's got to be some kind of end at some point, and you picked a number that's way higher than your previous, but also it kind of puts you in that range of being able to run indefinitely. So was my asset like my I guess you're not that like, how confident are you that you're gonna get this 168? Is it like 100%, 90%, or do you know it's gonna be really, really hard, and where on that line are you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely believe it's possible.
Yeah.
When I've done those events where I've got close to 5 days before, I've still kind of felt that I've had another 24 hours in me. It's hard to look too much further ahead than that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to have a number that would kind of scare me a little bit. I didn't want to just go, oh, let's go for 6 days because, yeah, after running 5 days, I kind of felt 6 days was doable. So I wanted to go beyond that. In terms of running indefinitely, like my logical brain and like the science brain tells me there has to be a human physical limit there. Like you're not going to replace the amount of calories that you're using, and you're not going to get by on that little sleep. Like there has to be a limiting factor there. But when I'm actually in the race and, I'm feeling really good at, 5 days in, like I do have those thoughts run through my head like, oh, maybe I can just do this forever. But yeah, when I'm thinking a bit straighter, it's like, well, no, there has to be a physical limit. So yeah, I thought 7 days was a good number and a good benchmark to try and hit. And yeah, I might get there and I might be feeling good and like I can keep going, but I also might not get even close to it. I might get to just over my record and completely break down. Like we don't know what's going to happen. I something could go wrong in the 20s or the 30s. Like that's just how a backyard ultra is. Like I feel fairly confident that I can get to that 5 day mark again because I've done that a couple of times and felt pretty good doing it. And I've, got a good system in place. But yeah, beyond that's an unknown. So we're just gonna have to find out when we get there, I guess.
So I've got a question. Phil, nice to meet you. I was just wondering, there's gonna be some different challenges with this because it's not gonna be a competition. I mean, it will be because it will be with yourself only, right?
Yeah.
So that probably stands out as an obvious challenge. Um, you mind talking a little bit about that? And then a second part of that conversation, I think you had mentioned that you have people lined up to run with you. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're using that as a way to help raise money so people can donate money and run a lap with me. It's not going to be for every lap uh, because I definitely want to be having some solo laps in there as well. But we just thought it's a good way to get the community involved a bit more and give these people the opportunity to come and meet me and run with me, and at the same time use that as a way to help raise money for telethon. Um, so sorry, what was the first part of your question?
Well, that was just one of the challenges of not being in a competition with
Oh yeah,
elite endurance athletes, and then I kind
yeah.
of have another follow up to that as well.
Yeah, so in terms of it not being in a competition, like there's definitely a part of me which is very competitive. And when I first got into running, like that was the main part I wanted to do running is because I was competitive. The more I've done ultra running, and the more of these events I've done, I've made it more about the experience and more like intrinsic, like what am I getting out of it? Uh, and yeah, like I do these events and I'm trying not to focus on what the other people around me are doing or what they're looking like, or, are they looking really strong and look like they can go forever, or are they going to drop and, I'm going to, this race is going to finish soon. So it's all about, going in and just focusing on my own process and going as far as I can go. But there's definitely still that part of me that is competitive. And, when you get to the last two people or the last three people, you start thinking, oh yeah, I could win this. Like that, this would be cool to win it. But that's not my goal going into the race. So taking this out of a race format, not having the other competitors, not having an assist and kind of knowing what the endpoint is rather than it being decided by when that second last person drops. It's definitely going to be a different kind of mindset to get through those bits because yeah, sometimes yeah, having that little competitive thing there is like the carrot to keep you going, whereas this
Push you over the edge. Yeah.
yeah, this is just me against myself, and if I'm getting those points where I'm really struggling or yeah, just getting bored or that
So,
sort of thing, it's going to be
so
hard.
Phil, do you think that so let's say you take that as a maybe a slight negative compared to your usual, but let's say because it's 168 and done, is that does that make it knowing that there's a finish line, does that help a little bit or no?
I think that'll help when it gets towards the end, like maybe when we're into the last 24 hours or last 12 hours. I think that's going to help when when that finish line is in sight. But at the start, I think it's going to be a disadvantage because
Yeah,
I'm lining up at that start line thinking I've got another 7 days of this. And I finished my first lap and I was like, okay, I just need to do that 167 more times. Like that's going to be very overwhelming. Whereas normally a backyard ultra, you don't know when it's going to finish, and you might have a rough idea based on who else is running and what their PBs are. But at the end of the day, you really have no idea. So you don't really need to think about that endpoint, and it's easier to focus in the moment. But yeah, having this endpoint and and knowing that from the start, it's probably going to get overwhelming, and it's going to be harder to just focus on the moment when I know what the big overarching goal is.
But it sounds like it's still really important to you, and you're really excited about this challenge, though. So I think that'll definitely help. This isn't nothing, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's just going to be a different dynamic to a normal backyard.
I was gonna say like my expectation was that like from everything I've heard or your interviews and podcasts and things like that, and from what I've heard from other people is that like you're like the best at like just doing your own thing and not even like being in the like basically just following your plan and like kind of not thinking about okay it's like I imagine you not being intimidated at all, but I guess you're saying you're human, which is good to hear. But like that, you do get intimidated by the distance a little bit. In my head, it was like, nah, that doesn't intimidate him. So do you like? I guess the question is like, do you really get intimidated, or you're like everyone else? You do get a little bit, but since you've done it all, like you've kind of have a really good way of handling it.
Yeah, I do. And like, I do have those human thoughts that run through my head, but it's probably more in the lead up. And I think once I start running, once I s- start that first step of lap one, it's just gonna, go back into focusing on the race. And
Yeah, your flow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I am the sort of person that's quite comfortable to run on my own. Like if you look at when I did the 119 hours for the last, when it was just down to us two, which would have been the last 15 or 16 hours, me and Sam saw each other at the start line, but then we're at completely different paces. So I was running all of those laps by myself. I'd, see him at the start line and then go run the lap and finish the lap and wouldn't see him again till the start of the next hour. So yeah, I do feel like I can run quite comfortably by myself. Obviously this one, as mentioned, we're going to have people running with me to help raise that money for charity. Yes, I like backyards for that social aspect, but I also think that it might not necessarily be an advantage to have those people there because sometimes I just want my own space, and especially deep into a race, I might not want to have conversation. I might just want to keep to myself or whatever. But I'm happy to run with these other people and give these people the opportunity to come and have a run with me and use that as a way to raise money. So that's just all part of this event.
So Phil, do you have to have them agree to a certain pace? Otherwise you're going to be running your own pace, right? So if somebody can't keep up or whatever the case may be, how's that going to work?
Yeah, so when they go to book their lap, I have put a list of what to expect, and in that I've said what my pace range is going to be. So, at the quicker end, 35 minutes, at the slower end, 52 minutes. If they don't think they're going to be able to keep up with that quicker range, just to let us know and we can find a more suitable lap. But also when they go to donate to book the lap, I've put a little asterisk next to the ones that I expect to be a fast lap. And I've tried to be very clear in there as well that this isn't a pace run. In a normal backyard, yes, I understand that anyone running next to you is classed as pacing, whether they're setting the pace or not. This isn't an official backyard, so, I'm not following that aspect of the rule. But yeah, I've been clear, like, I don't want them to be trying to run ahead and pull me along or encourage me to go faster. Like, I'm there to stick to my pace and they're to run alongside me, or just behind me. And if they can't actually keep up with the pace, I'm not going to drop back to stay with them. I'm going to be running at my pace and they're just going to have to finish the lap on their own. And yeah, I've also been clear, like there's other rules in there as well. Like, they're not to assist me in any way. Like, they're not to give me water or carry
You're jealous.
items from me. I still want to, it's still, I want to keep it as that solo endurance challenge. Like, it's still a solo effort. But it's, as I said, it's a way for these other people to, like, a way to involve the community a little bit more in helping achieve this goal for telethon.
Okay, so that was one of my follow-up questions, because I wasn't sure the dynamic there with the runner and the pacing and all that. Um, do you have like a circle of friends or a few people in your group of friends that you kind of want to bring in as ringers, like knowing that they're not able to pace you, but just maybe to have them for company, on day 6 or day 7 to push you over the edge, or like maybe you have some people that could come with you that that you respect so much and that you're going to get some energy from them.
No, so with the lap booking system, it's anyone can book it. So some of my friends have booked laps, but basically it's open to anyone, and they're the only people that are going to be running with me. I'm not going to get, if I get to a point where I'm really struggling, I'm not going to be calling in a friend to come and help me get through it because, as I said, this is a solo endurance challenge. Like, I don't want to be, because I think if I'm calling someone in for the purpose of helping me get through the lap, then that's when it is crossing the line of having someone run with me for charity as opposed to someone running with me to help me get through the lap. So again, it's a strictly solo challenge, and I'm trying to replicate the format of the backyard as much as possible. And yeah, in a backyard, I can't just get to a point where it's like, I'm really struggling. Hey mate, can you come and run with me for this lap and help me get through? Because that's definitely pacing. Whereas like running with strangers and people who have booked that lap, that's in a backyard, you're going to have other competitors there who you haven't selected, who they're just there for the race, and you might run with them to help you get through a lap. But yeah, it's just trying to stick as close to the backyard format as possible.
Yeah, I got that from your other interview that that's really important for you to kind of follow that format as much as possible. You even have, but before we get there, you even have 2 loops, right, for the night and the day. But
Yeah.
but before we get there, so what are the exact, what's the location and date in case anyone wants to book a lap with you? 'Cause-
Yep. So it's at Forestdale Lake, in WA. Forestdale Lake.
Okay, and is that near, which city is that near in Australia?
So the closest capital city is Perth.
Perth. Okay,
but
yep.
it's on the outskirts of Perth.
Yeah.
And on the 23rd of August it starts. So it goes, obviously for a full week. So the 23rd to the 30th of August.
Yeah, so if anyone's going for the Sydney Marathon, you could get in a lap with Phil.
Sydney's on the other side.
Oh, okay. Sorry, don't do my new already.
Here on the east.
Still way closer for us. If you're there, you're already there.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, it might not work for me, but we'll try, Phil. But
we do have a virtual lap option as well. So you can donate money to run a virtual lap, and then just wherever you are in the world, you select what lap you want to run with me. And then when you get to that lap in your time zone, you go out and you run your 6.7 and tag us in your socials. We'll give you a shout out on the live stream. And it's just a way that other people can be a part of it, and encourage people to get off the couch and get outside and be active, and at the same time contribute to a good cause.
that's awesome. And where do the bookings happen? Is there a website?
philgore.com.au.
Okay, philgore.com.au should be easy to find.
Yeah.
All right. Chris, do you have any questions? Additional questions here?
Yeah, I got some questions.
Quick break, guys, from this interview to talk a little bit about our sponsor, Altitude Sports, what they do. The code for your first order is Running Journey 2026. I'm coaching a guy right now, and he asked me, there's so many things you got to buy in the running world, running community. How do I do this? I'm prepping for my first marathon. What do I do? Well, I told him, just go to Altitude Sport, because to go from nothing to everything, like if you need to build your running kit, if you will, or your marathon running kit from scratch, it's a great place to go. It's one stop. They're going to deliver that next day for you. Canadian brands, if that matters to you, it certainly does to me. Race day checklist, they got all of this. So if you're not sure where to go, you want to build stuff, they will tell you what you need. They're going to suggest some other stuff. So guys, one-stop running shop for your online buys. Altitude Sport, our sponsor. Thank you, guys. Let's get back to the podcast.
So in terms of finding that limit, where do you think that limit, like, what do you think that will look like? Will it be a sleep deprivation issue? Do you think it will be a physical issue? Now that I'm saying this question out loud, I'm realizing all the different things that can go on, and you really don't know. But let's say, like, physically, you don't really have any issues. Your feet are good. You're physically okay, but you're just like, do you think exhaustion is what's going to be the cap to this, or how do you imagine that going?
Yeah, like I don't know for sure, but Like I've always felt it is going to have to be an injury that stops me. But, if I'm not getting injured, there's going to have to be some other sort of limiter there.
Because you're really good at sleeping, right?
Yeah. And I think like I was just about to mention the sleep because I feel like that's what stops a lot of other runners' races. Like even some really strong runners, I feel like it comes down to sleep. Now, I think I've optimize my sleeping routine for these events, which helps me go further. But I'm still like, it's still nowhere near getting 8 hours of sleep at night. Like I'm still getting maybe 2 hours in 10-minute increments. So I'm definitely not getting ideal sleep. I'm just getting the best I can with the time that I've got. So I do feel like that might catch up on me at some point. Like it even started to catch up with me towards the end of Bigs. So there were moments where I was getting a bit confused on that fifth night, just I think due to sleep deprivation. But I mean, that was early on in the night, and then kind of once I started getting sleep on those night laps, I started to become a bit more coherent and a bit more switched on again. So yeah, I think that'll be, unless it's a physical injury or like, I fall over or get a snake bite or something like that. I think I think it'll be the sleep.
Yeah, I always thought that was usually the limiting factor in these long ones. I think that's why when you reach like your level, Phil, like I think the people like, you have to be fast so that you can do those 35-minute laps and not kill yourself and then get some sleep. I think that's where that's like you and some of the guys that are doing over 100 laps are all fast. So I think that's where that helps. But also just like you've got it down pat where you've got your routine, you've got your 2 fast laps. I think you're still doing that, right? Two fast,
Yeah.
fast, slow.
3 fast,
3 fast, 1 slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I tried to do. 2 fast, 1 slow.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not Phil, so I'll try to do 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's definitely what makes it the top guy special. Chris, you had something to follow up on?
Yeah, like you must have a couple moments in your career where um things have gotten pretty dark for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories that come to mind where things like have gotten so dark for you that you were really starting to question things, and then for whatever reason you were able um to come out of it and maybe even find um maybe double the amount of loops that you thought you could do after the fact?
Yeah, so one that comes to mind is the Satellite Champs in 2022. At that one, my PB at the time was 54. And yeah, went into that, and I think it would have been the early 60s. I think it might have been lap 60 or lap 61 that I felt like I had this issue come on with my leg, like it was a weird sort of cramp. And I didn't even think I could finish that lap, like once I got that pain, but I ended up finishing the lap, and I came in and I spoke to my crew. So my wife was crewing for me as well, but she'd gone to bed at that point. And I remember saying to the other people in my crew, I think you need to go wake Gemma up because this is going to be my last lap. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I've just had this issue with my leg. Like, I don't think I can keep going. And they're like, they just keep talking me into like going out and doing the lap. So I went and did it. I actually ended up running the whole lap because the leg was hurting more when I was walking than when I was running. So I did that lap and I came in quicker. And my crew's like, oh, so look, you're fine. You came in quicker. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I had to run the whole lap. Like I couldn't walk. And it's like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Just run the whole.
And just keep running.
And yeah, so I stayed in for that lap. But yeah, each lap after that was, yeah, kind of a struggle to get through. And, this leg issue wasn't getting better. And my crew, like as it got towards the pointy end, like we were getting towards the 70s, we were into the 70s, And I think my crew they were basically lying to me each lap. They're like, no, this will be your last one because the other guy is about to drop, like this is definitely your last lap. And yeah, so I just like, oh, okay, well, I just have to do one more. And that's all right because this guy's going to stop. And then I come back and he's still going. I'm like, he's still going. It's like, oh, yeah, you just need to do one more. And
They kept
so,
telling you it's the last one and you to leave them.
Just around the corners, just around the corner.
yeah, I was sleep deprived and yeah, I really struggled to get through, but my crew, like, they just kept pushing me out and just like almost like bribing me, like, oh, you do this lap, when you get back, you can have this and blah, blah, blah. So I just kept going and on lap 76, so this was an out and back course. So on lap 76, I got to the turnaround and came back. And at the point where I was expecting to see the other runner, he wasn't there. Kept running along and still hadn't seen him. And I'm trying to do the maths in my head. I'm like, well, if he hasn't got to this point by yet, like he's still got to get to the turnaround and then come back. Is he going to finish in time? And I'm like, I think even if I see him now, like he's not going to be able to finish this lap. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I missed him. Maybe he ducked off to the side to go to the toilet and, I've just passed him or something. But yeah, then eventually, like I did see him and it would have been, I don't know, maybe a K&a-half to go to the end. And I saw him and he was like weaving over the road. Like he wasn't walking straight and basically we stopped and had a conversation and he's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not going to finish this. And I was like, oh, that's all right. When I get back, I will let someone know to come and pick you up. And then that last K&a-half was like the hardest K&a-half I've ever done in a race because it's like my mind was like, okay, you can stop now. And my body was like, oh, you can stop now because you've won this. And then my mind's like, no, you can't stop right now. You still got to get this K&a-half done. So keep moving. But my body just like, I was just struggling and I got that K&a-half done and it was just such a relief. But yeah, it's funny like how the mind body connection works. And yeah, when you get
there's a bit of a mental and an emotional toll that it takes on you when you're fighting the urge to quit because of an injury. That's a completely different thing to a sleep deprivation or physical exhaustion. It's just a whole other element that you have to go through. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think even one of those laps, I remember going to sleep and just thinking, oh, I hope my crew forgets to wake me up because then I don't have to go and run again. And then it's not my fault, it's my crew's fault. But yeah, of course they wake me up and get me out for the next lap. But yeah, that's probably like one of the hardest ones I've had to battle through. But yeah, it was good to come away running, a lot further than, I thought I was going to be out at about 61 or something and to go and do 76 and get the win. That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, then you realize you were pretty good at this, I guess. So this being kind of a set amount of time, how does that impact kind of all the logistics planning and your crew and who you'll have out there? Like what's all the plan for that? Or does it not change and you just have more of a kind of a defined time? How does that affect all of that planning? Because when I did my backyard and I didn't go very long, like the logistics was a thing. Yeah.
I think the logistics is actually easier because I've got that set time, so I know when to roster my crew on and all of that. We know how long the crew's going to be there. In terms of nutrition, like normally my nutrition plan goes up to like 8 or 9 days because I just want to really like go overboard on it because I don't know how long it's going to go. So I'd rather have way too much than not enough. Whereas this one, it's like, well, I know exactly how long I'm going to be there for. So I only need to, plan for that 7 days. I don't need to have anything go beyond that. So yeah, in a way, the logistics is easier. And yeah, I've done a few backyards now, so I just follow the same systems that I've used before, and I've got my same setup. I'm working with crew that I've worked with before. You know, I've got 8 people helping out, so 8 crew altogether. And yeah, I've done a roster, so I only need 3 on at a time, so they can still have time for rest. And I mean, some of them have flown in just for this, so they're going to be here the whole time anyway. But then I've got others who are local who still have to, you know, work it around their jobs and other commitments. So yeah, it works out that I've got 3 people on at a time, and they all have their specific roles of what they need to do. And yeah, like it should be, yeah, it's planned out pretty well.
What are the roles? So I when I did my backyard ultra, I had assigned people different roles. So what are the role? I'm curious to see what are the roles that you give, or is this a trade secret?
It's not a trade secret, but basically one of them is responsible for the plan. So they're to hold the clipboard and record my times, record what's happened, keep me informed of what's coming up next, keep the crew informed of what needs to happen for that break. Just basically to make sure that everything on the plan is followed. If there's any variations to the plan, that's recorded down. You know, yeah, what time I'm coming in, what I ate for that lap, how much trail brew did I drink. All of that stuff is recorded on the plan. So that's their main duty. Then we've got someone who is in charge of the food and the drinks. So they're cooking the food or preparing the food. They're preparing the drinks. Yeah, making sure I'm eating. And then another role, which I wouldn't normally have this role, but because of the whole media side of it, they're just going to be dedicated to social media. So we're going to make sure we're keeping everyone informed through the Instagram, you know, what's going on. They'll also be reading messages, like people who are sending in messages. They'll be reading those to me from my Instagram. Basically, so I don't need to worry about like checking my phone all the time. Like they can just filter through and they can read me the important ones or whatever it is. So and just in general, capturing photos and videos from the event for my own memories and stuff. We do have a documentary crew there, so they're separate to the main crew. They're working on a documentary, and we've got a live stream crew as well, so they'll be live streaming the whole event. But yeah, and then there's other jobs as well, which all of the crew will kind of chip in and help. They're not really assigned to any certain role, but it's just, you know, like first aid, foot care, massage, yeah, just those little bits and pieces. And we'll also have a few extra volunteers around helping out as well. So if we need someone to go and grab some ice or do a bin run or something like that, we've got other people around to help out.
Are you worried at all people are going to try to interview you between the loops or anything like that? Like media is going to be there after a while?
Yeah, I already know that there's going to be some media there.
Yeah.
But basically my crew will just manage that for me. And if I'm available for an interview, I'll do an interview. But if I'm not up to it, I'll just, won't be doing it. So, but we'll work with it. But there's some interviews that, I will be committing to, you know, like through telethon and helping raise their profile and raise the funds for them. So, but yeah, I'm sure there's going to be others that come up that are unexpected, but we'll just manage those as they come.
Phil, do you have a little bit of a different training strategy going into this, or is it status quo for you? You go with what works.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just do what I've always done, just following the same training plan. Yeah.
How long is your taper for this type of event?
So I normally do 2 weeks. So I have my last long run 2 weeks out, and then my taper is normally like drop the Ks, but also just like chill out and relax, like spend a bit more time on the couch watching movies. But this one's been different because yes, I've dropped the Ks back in my running, but all the spare time that I've got is organizing logistics because I'm not just organizing my own race, I'm organizing this whole event. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. So I'm not getting as much like chill time. But that's all right. I'll be good to go for race day.
So what kind of movies have you been into now that you're
I'm not watching any movies at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't? I thought you said, normally you would
No, when in taper I would, but I haven't.
Oh, that sucks. You should be. You need to get those movies in.
Yeah, it is nice to take
cool.
your mind off things just a little bit
Yeah.
before a big race and just kind of decompress.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll probably be working hard over the next few days. But yeah, hopefully, like the 2 or 3 days before, I get to chill a little bit more, and yeah. So the more I can get squared away now, the better.
Yeah. Just that mental chill, you think makes like just having nothing to worry about makes a big difference. You think before a backyard or any type of race?
I think so. This is probably the most stressed I've been leading into an event, and it's not even around the running or anything itself. It's just about the logistics and the event organization side.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We were kind of talking about that off air just before Chris and I. Chris has a race this weekend, and he's dealing with a lot this week, so not the ideal taper week, but yeah, no, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes it's good to take your mind off things completely, so you're not overthinking it, and then you go into it with kind of no expectation and see what happens.
yeah, yeah.
I have a question about on the mentality side of things. I think motivation is something that you can't really rely on. Um, so what kind of keeps you going every day? What drives you to want to do this? I don't know, it's maybe a little bit more personal, but like those kinds of things really interest me, and I just like to hear your thoughts on that. Like, and inside of that, like, is there anything that specifically that inspires you to move forward?
Yeah, well, I like what you said about motivation because yeah, motivation's definitely something that's not always there. Like it does come and go. So that's when discipline is important. And I think when I first kind of got back into running as an adult, uh, I really worked on the foundations. Like I just wanted to be consistent. I started with just 5Ks a day, and it's like I was doing 5Ks every single day. Like I didn't want to have any days off, and yeah, so it didn't matter what the weather was. It didn't matter how I was feeling. It didn't matter what I had planned for that day. It's like I just had to find at least 25 minutes to get out there and do a 5K. And I think that just really helped build the foundations for the runner that I've become today. And yeah, so when I get moments now where I don't feel like running, it's like it's not even a question anymore. It's like washing teeth. It's like I get up in the morning, I have my breakfast, I go for my run. Like that's just how it is. Like if I don't go for a run, it's just it's just weird. I mean, the only time I wouldn't go for a run is if I've been injured or something like that. But for me, I think it's probably it'll be harder not to run on a day than it is harder to actually get out there. And,
yeah, I get that.
yeah, and on the days where I'm not feeling motivated, and I get out there and do it anyway, once I'm a couple of Ks into my run, I'm like, I'm just loving it. Like I just love running. Like I'll be out there on a 50K run, and for some people that might be a real grind, and this is just what I need to do for training to build myself up for this race. But I love that aspect of it. I love going out and running 50Ks and seeing all these different places, and it just feels like an epic journey when I start at home and then find myself 50Ks from home, and yeah, I'll catch a train home, or I'll get a lift home or something, and just yeah, on the return journey, like coming home on that train, it's like, oh, this feels like such a long way, but it's like, hang on, I've just run that. Like, how cool is that? So yeah, it's definitely something that I enjoy, and I really do focus on that enjoyment part of it because yeah, if I didn't enjoy it, like I wouldn't do it. Like I'm not gonna run just for the sake of running. Like I want to, yeah.
Well, it gives you a lot of time to think, and you probably are continuously learning about yourself, and it's a never ending journey for you. So there's always learnings. It's unlimited what you can accomplish when you keep doing it, and there's probably new things that come around the corner for you all the time. So that's awesome. I love hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I was going to say there's always something that I'm training for, or I've got another adventure coming up, or I'm traveling to another part of the world for a race. So there's always something to look forward to. And I think some people will like run a race and then they just go into this slump because it's like, oh well, I put all my energy into training for this race, and now the race has come and gone, and it's like, oh, now what? But I think if you focus more on the process and the training rather than the outcome, which is the race, you're just going to enjoy the journey a lot more.
Yeah, that's such an interesting topic, hey Charlie. We talk about, what we do with ourselves after a race, and sometimes it's like, taking time off is what the doctor prescribes, but sometimes it's like that's not what we want to do. And when that happens, I feel like there's that fear of getting comfortable that starts creeping in. And I feel like as endurance athletes, we don't like that. And sometimes it's like you shouldn't have to need a race on the calendar to be excited to get back. Sometimes just getting out there makes you feel better after a race. So it's interesting to hear. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but
Yeah, I think it does help to like I always have another race planned, and I think that does like I enjoy like after a race, it is good to just relax for like a week or 2 weeks, or depending how long until your next race. But it is good to just go, you know what, I don't have a plan this week. I feel like running 5Ks, I'll go and run 5Ks. Or I might be like, you know what, I'm going to do 20Ks today. Like you just make it up as you go. And it's kind of nice not needing to stick to that plan. But then I can only do that for so long. And then it's like, I need to be like, okay, what's the focus here? Like what's my next event? And then, to kind of have that to look towards. But you know what, at the end of the day, even if there were no races and races weren't a thing, I would still be out there running every day. I'd just be doing my own epic adventures. Like I will go and plan a 100K training run just for something to do. It doesn't have to be a race. But it is, I mean, don't get me wrong, races are fun and they're good to do. And it's a good kind of thing to see where you're at and to have a goal to work towards. But at the end of the day, that's not why I run. I like the journey that running takes me on, and I like the day-to-day training. It's like the training's not, the training is hard work, but it's not like the thing that I have to do. It's the thing that I get to do. And I think, that sort of mindset towards it is going to help with your longevity in a running career. So.
Yeah, I can certainly relate. Like, I love all of that you're saying. Like, for me, I've said this before, but it's like training takes zero motivation because it's often like one of the most enjoyable parts of the day. So like, it takes zero motivation, and it's just a thing that I enjoy. So I do like to have a race to be able to kind of put some structure around it, but like, it's such an enjoyable part of my day. Like when if it takes motivation to do something, then to me, maybe, yeah, you shouldn't need much motivation to be running is kind of what I hear from you, and it's just a thing that you should enjoy, right?
Yeah.
I do have some follow-up questions on things you've mentioned a little earlier, Phil, in the podcast,
Yeah.
talking about running alone versus running with people during the backyard. So
Yeah.
I am also kind of a person that's very comfortable running alone. And
Yeah.
when I did my first backyard, I had my plan and I just stuck to it, and I ended up running alone a lot. And now I regret it because I did a couple loops with people, and they just seemed way easier. So for you, it sounds like you need both in your strategy. And so in past races, have you been like, there's loops where I need to be with people, or there's loops that I just want to do alone, or how does that play into your strategy, or you just follow your times and that's it?
Yeah. So the thing I love about backyards is the social side of it.
Yeah.
But the way that it's structured, that at the beginning, there's a lot of people there, and it doesn't matter what pace I'm running at. There's normally always someone there running at that pace who I can talk with. And it might be that I run with them for a kilometer, and then they stop to walk or I stop to walk, and then there's someone else, and so there's different people to talk to. But then as the event goes on and the people start dropping, there's less opportunities for conversation. That actually suits me because my social battery has kind of all been drained in those first couple of days. So as I get towards the end of the event, my social battery is drained, and it's nice to go and have those solo laps. But it is good. Like don't get me wrong, I still enjoy towards the end having those chats with people, and there will still be people that I can run with. But I think if a hypothetical, if you were given the choice where every single run you ever did for the rest of your life had to be with someone else, or you could never run with another person again, I would probably choose to never run with another person again. Just because I think running with someone for every single run for the rest of my life, that would just get too much for me. And running by myself, although I do enjoy running with other people and I would miss running with other people, I feel like I could still run by myself and be comfortable and still, be able to do
It's an interesting game.
It's such an interesting question. So Sumo, what I know what my answer is, and I know what my brother's answer is. What's your answer?
That's a tough one because I actually almost never run with anybody, but when I do like it. It's nice. But I feel like when I'm by myself, there's a lot of like mental work that gets done, and I feel like I accomplish a lot somehow. So I think there's a lot of value there. So I don't know, maybe I would choose that.
I think I would also choose the loner run, and my brother would definitely choose the group with someone run. But anyway, that's an interesting.
You would choose treadmill.
Oh yeah, treadmill with people. Yeah. Anyways, back to this event though. Like, so on a scale of the event that you've been the most excited for to the event that you've been the least excited for, where does this event rank? Like, how excited are you for this?
It's hard to be excited when I'm stressed about all the stuff I need to do to get ready for it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely excited about it, but it's not really top of mind. I'm more focusing on what needs to be.
There's a lot to do. You don't have time.
Yeah, so it is very stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just get excited for all of my races. I don't know if I can pick one over the other. But they're all. Yeah, I get excited about it for different reasons, but I think Bigs is pretty exciting going to that. Knowing all the top runners who are going to be there and who I'm going to get to meet and run with, and get to go to a different part of the world. I mean, it was my second time going there. Yeah, but this one's just different because there's just a lot more stress around it. Whereas Bigs is like, I just need to worry about my stuff for the race and rock up there and go and do my thing. Whereas this has just got so many other aspects to it.
All right. So I'm not sure this is accurate. But my understanding, Phil, is that you kind of have you have a full-time job. Like, this isn't what you do for a living. You're not like a pro runner. Is that something now you've kind of got a brand and you've got like your name is a brand. Is that a thing you've actually thought of potentially doing, or where are you along that kind of thought process?
Yeah, well, it's a bit different here in Australia. Like, we don't really have the sponsorship and stuff available at that level like it is in the US. And so I do have a little bit of sponsorship which helps fund my running and the events that I do, but it's not something that I could quit my job for. Like I'm happy to see where it goes. Like, I do love my job, and it does fit in well with my running. So I'm a firefighter, and the roster is we do 2 days, 2 nights, and then 4 days off. And because of where my work is located, I run to and from work. So fitting my running in around my work is really convenient. Although, like, with a lot of these events that I'm doing lately and, being in different parts of the world and, it's not just like I'm getting a couple of days off to go and run a marathon. I need to take like a whole week off and then allow time for recovery. So trying to get that time off of work is a bit of a challenge sometimes, but I make it work. But yeah, like I'm just happy to see where this running takes me, and if it is something that I could do full time, then I will. But yeah, I just gotta look for those opportunities, I guess. And yeah, it is very different here in Australia compared to what it's like in the US, and I'm not sure what it's like in Canada, but yeah,
Yeah, no, we're nowhere near that
Yeah.
level, but yeah. So I just thought maybe your brand would become kind of pretty I guess it's still very niche backyards.
Yeah.
But I mean, running 7 days straight is something.
You might raise some eyebrows after
Yeah.
that.
yeah. Yeah, well, look, we'll see what happens. Like, this is like where I am now. This was never like a goal of mine to, be a world champion or a world record holder. This is just something that I've just, done what I'm passionate about, and this is where it's brought me. So it's, when I first got back into running, it wasn't like, oh, one day I want to do an ultra marathon and I want to be a world champion. It was just like, I was just looking at the next thing, like I want to do this race. And, I was quite happy doing 5K to marathon. I was like, I don't need to do ultras. But then, I did an ultra and I enjoyed it. So I did another one, and I'm just happy, like the whole, just following where life takes you. And we'll see where that takes me over the next 5 years, 10 years. And
I've got two kind of closing questions, but Chris, if you've got questions before those, go ahead.
No, I don't at the moment. No.
So my two closing questions are, well, first of all, you did mention that you like to have additional races planned. So my first question is what's the plan after this Project 168, and are you worried about any type of kind of mental letdown after? And then the second question is, how do we follow this? Like, if we want to follow this when it's happening, uh, can you please let us know how we do that? I'm sure there's streaming and Instagram and whatever, but yeah.
yeah. So my next race after this is the Satellite Champs, which is only about 7 weeks after it, which I know I probably didn't leave a lot of time to recover and train for that. But we had originally planned Project 168 for the end of July, but just the back of house organizing stuff took a bit longer than we thought. So we did have to push it back, and this was like the only window that we had. But I've done events close together before and had recovered okay in between. So I still feel confident about being able to execute both really well. And in terms of following it, that website I gave before, so philgore.com.au. If you go there, when the event is on, there will be live streaming on there. It's not obviously there at the moment because I'm not running, but also through there, you can find out a bit more about it. You can see where you can go to donate. You can book a virtual lap if you're in Perth, and you can book an in-person lap. And just follow on my Instagram. So there's going to be a lot of updates through my social media. So phil.gore.ultrarunner. You'll find me on Instagram.
All right. Any closing comments, Chris?
No, that's good. I feel like we could probably talk about this for a few more hours, to be honest. But that was amazing. Good luck with this project, Phil, and it's super inspiring. And I hope everything goes well for you. And it's great to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, same, Phil. My closing words are, you are an inspiration, and like, this is a thing that people 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, people would have thought was just bonkers. And like, never mind 10 years ago but yeah. So anyways, doing things that seem impossible. Just love that. So yeah. I'm very confident you'll do it. So I'm not wishing you good luck because I know you don't.
Yeah.
So
I think you're gonna do it too.
yeah. So good luck.
Thanks for your faith in me.
Yeah. Thanks, Phil. All right.
Thanks, Phil.